Hi, it's Lily Scraps. I belong to the group Stamper Enablers, and I made this card right here that I had a lot of questions for. It is actually not my design. I found it on Pinterest, and I basically did it my way, sort of. I just wanted to show you how I did it. So what I did is I used this stamp, Wonderland, the trees right here. And before I do that, I need to make my nighttime sky. So to do that, you need some distress ink. This is the Chipped Sapphire. I keep my little sponges underneath. And the trick to this is you always need to start off your paper, and the best way to do that is have like a slick surface underneath. Right now I have a cut up piece of the Tim Holtz his mat. I forget what you call it there, the sill mat. But I ink up my sponge dauber really good, and you always start off on the slick surface, and then you work your way onto the paper in a circular motion. And I go all the way down like this in a circular motion until I start to see that my color is starting to fade out. So I'm going to load up my mat again, my sponge again. We're going to continue off the paper and then work our way onto it in a circular motion. There's probably other ways to do this, but this is the way I've basically taught myself. And then you just circular motion coming off the mat. And I make my way all the way around. And you will get your fingers really dirty. This is from earlier today. So now I have my edges all done. Now I want to do a second layer. So this is going to be dry a bit. So now I'm going to go back on and circle and make the edges a little bit darker, like this, and just doing the edges. I'm not going in as far. So off the edge and onto through the paper. And I'm going all the way around, and I'm just doing the sides, not going in. Now I'm going to kind of take some of it off on the side, and I'm going to go in the middle where it's a little dark, and circular motions come into the middle, but I don't want it too dark. And I'm just going to come in and blend it off. And I'm going to do that all over. Some areas are going to be a little darker and some are going to be a little lighter. So I want the top part to look like it's kind of like a snow flurry. So I'm going to kind of load up some more ink and darken up the bottom a bit. Bring it up just a bit. It's still darker on the edge than it is in the middle. Blending it all together. And then I'm going to work my way up. And I'm going to leave it kind of white like that in the center part. And then I just kind of give it a little smudge all the way around. I don't know the technical terms. And the paper that I use is actually, you could use this with any paper, but I found that it's hard to see on camera, but if you tilt your paper, it gives this beautiful shimmer, and that's what makes it look so cool, because the card actually shimmers. So I used from Michaels, the Recollection shimmer cardstock, and it's called White Gold. Yeah, and you get 100 in the sheet, and I just cut it down with my Simon Says Stamps, my stitched rectangle, and I used the largest one that was in the set. And that's what I cut to make my background. Okay, so now to make my falling snow. So I'm going to put this away. And it's very easy to do the falling snow. So now I take my Tim Holtz Distress Paint, and this is called Picket Fence, and I put it on my mat, and I dab some on, and then I want to water it down a bit, so I squirt some water. Then I have just a regular paintbrush, nothing fancy. This says it's a number 2. That's what I was using. And then I load up the brush with paint, and I just tap. I usually take another brush and tap it like that. And it gives me my falling snow. And then I'm going to zap it real fast with my heat gun. I'm only doing 1 layer of snow so far, and then we'll do another layer of snow after. So I'm going to dry the snow. It's best to heat up your heat gun first before you do this. Because sometimes your paper will warp, like mine is, but I always fix it with lots of adhesive. Okay, so I'm hoping that's dry. Looks like there's a few wet spots. Because of I don't know how to do editing and splicing of videos, I'm going to hope that my trees don't smear the snow. So first I start off with, I'm using this ink here. I'm using the VersaFine Onyx Black, and I love it. It's brand new to me, and I'm absolutely adoring how crisp the images are coming. I'm just wiping my hands because, as you can see, I'm really dirty. So I'm going to take my trees, and I'm going to start off on the edge, and I'm going to stamp and lift up. Now I'm going to do a second generation, and I'm going to stamp right beside it with a second generation, and then I have that. So now I'm going to load up my stamp again. And you want your trees to be all different lengths. So this here, I'm going to bring it down a bit, and I'm going to stamp full black. Going to lift it up. And I didn't quite stamp very well down here at the bottom, but that's okay because I'll go back over top of it with my second generation, and that will cover it up. So then I just kind of move it over to the side, and I press real hard and get a second generation. As you can see, it covered it up. Now I can even get a third generation out of this. So I'm going to lift it up higher, and it makes it look like the trees are really far in the back. And then I can even probably get a fourth generation down here in the corner if I press hard enough. And I get a very, very faint shadow. So that's how you get your background. So now again, I'm going to pick up some more of the white paint, and then I'm going to add some more snow so that it looks like it's falling down on the trees. You can cheat a bit and make it go where you want it to go. Like that. That one there, I find it a little bit too dark, so I'm going to pick it up with some paper towel. Just soak it up a bit so that it's not such of a dark area. And same with here. I just use my finger. And those ones, I like them how they're that white. And then I kind of want another one up here and a few here. And I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to heat set this. Okay, and for the purposes of time, we'll just pretend that's dry. So what I've taken is some navy blue cardstock. This is just the Michaels brand. It's the Recollection cardstock. And then I also have the Recollection 110 pound ivory color. And I'm just going to adhere the navy blue as a matte. And then I'm going to adhere my panel. And I would be using a lot of adhesive. I use, to glue my panels down, I use the Mono Tombow liquid glue. And I put a thin layer all over the backs of my panels. And I assemble them that way. And then for my label, I have the sentiment that goes with the same stamp, with a different stamp set. It is this stamp set right here, which is Ornamental Pine, which is the Christmas Wishes. And that I stamp onto the same shimmery cardstock that I have cut out in this label, which I forgot to pull out where it came from, but I'm pretty sure it was the Stampin' Up! Project Life set. And then I stamp with the VersaFine on here. Then I put clear embossing powder and I heat it up. And then I stick this on with my 3M adhesive tape. And I place it on here at the bottom. And then as you can see, I added some pearls, which are navy, well, kind of a purpley navy blue. And I put those on with my Crystal Effects. And then that's the card. So it's pretty simple. It's not that hard to do. I hope this kind of gives you an idea how to do it. And I want to thank every single one of you that give me all those great thumbs up and wonderful comments to the Stampin' Enabler girls. And keep on crafting. Thank you. Bye.